When do I make the decision to go ahead and start plucking the hairs, on my chin, on my neck, or do I leave it? Am I scared to do it, because I don't know what it's going to look like growing back? How will it feel? So I'm with you all the way with those physical signs that are already saying, hey, this is probably what it's leading up to. Polycystic ovary syndrome, irregular period, excessive, hair in male dominant places. Could be a major sign of PCOS. This is not normal. Mental health and birth control. Talk to me a little bit about that, especially now that as a 16-year-old, you're planted with this not normal seed in your head.
So what I felt was normal. It was like, no, I was having self-image issues, anxiety that, that was like undiagnosed kind of thing. Like I was just, because in my culture, like I'm a Latina. So like the way they tell you is like, you have to go, keep living your life. Don't let that bother you. Don't just like, you have to keep going on. So I was like, kind of like my brain was kind of wired to just put up with it, to be resilient in a way, just to like keep going forward. But the thing, like, I know inside of my heart something was not right, just because even though I had the pill, I had the pill for a year, and it took a few different pills for me to actually, like, I guess be have a normal, like a regular period. But because I was having like very heavy periods, and that was not normal either, supposedly, all these things. Like I was like, I was like a little rat. Like they were trying to like test me.
That's how you felt.
Yeah, different pills to make sure that I like which one I'm able to take. And I was in college. I was already like 18, 19, and I was like, you know what? Let me incorporate fitness more. So I was incorporating fitness. I was measuring my food because I was in a nutrition major. So I was like trying to be being mindful as to what I'm eating and exercising. And I'm not gonna lie, that really helped, being very disciplined in that aspect. It's just that to keep going, to be super, super disciplined, to measure every little gram of rice or potatoes is not realistic. So that was, I was working, I was going to college. So, even though I made some of my goals when I was trying to be more mindful when I'm eating and stuff like that, it did not help my PCOS, because I was still like, I know I was thinking that something was not right with me, because I was still having like body issues with the way I look. I couldn't lose weight to save a life. So, so I was going through all these things, and I said, like, I know that being mindful as to what you're eating, the thing, since I was in college, I would just like pick a fad diet, like, oh, just eat plain chicken and plain broccoli, but I wouldn't know what would help my PCOS. So now that I'm older, like now that I was reading, watching like a video from a YouTube video, like one of my favorite YouTube people, that she's a murder mystery person, but she was doing a historical dark history podcast on birth control, how they were tested on Puerto Rican women, and it went like all these like things that you discover from that YouTube. I'm definitely going to send you a link of that one, because I think it's very interesting to how birth control was brought up, and then back in the 1960s, if I'm correct, 1950s or 1960s.
All right, so you were saying like in college, your pain level was pretty good, or
it was? I mean, like honestly, because I was taking Tylenol and ibuprofen on those times.
So you had to take over-the-counter pain meds to kind of help you navigate through. Okay.
Any pain.
And this is because you got off of birth control, or you were still on birth control while you were in college?
I was still on birth control when I was in college.
Okay, so hold up, Jeannette, because I was told that if you get on birth control, it's supposed to take away the pain of your period and help you level out your hormones in order for you to have a better experience with your periods. Am I right or wrong?
You're correct. And let me tell you one thing. I'm just when I just started that pill when I was 16, 17, I went to look back at my hospital records. That's when I started having migraines. A few months right after that, and I needed Tylenol, ibuprofen to help with those migraines, and I still have migraines today. So yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing, because the previous episode with endometriosis conqueror, she was put on birth control, and while it took away her pain, it caused all of these other symptoms to start being a problem with her body. So I think it just shocked me that you were still in so much pain while on the birth control in college, because that's like one of the main things that is supposed to be helping manage while you're on your period. Because when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, they wanted to put me on birth control. Birth control was an option for me as well. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I don't want to go that route. But also because of the endometriosis, I was like, let me go with the surgery to make sure it is truly endometriosis. And then that's when I'll start making some decisions on what I'm going to actually do in order to kind of help treat my body, since we know with endometriosis nor polycystic ovary syndrome, there's no cure. So you kind of really figure out how your body's going to respond. And your body's so complex anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's only when we get that medical information of what's going on inside can we make those informed decisions on how we're going to make lifestyle changes and healthy habit choices moving forward. I too, just like you did nutrition in college. I did health promotion. So it's now public health. So we had that initial interest in health before we really knew what was really going on with us, to be able to now apply our background to our actual personal life to try to figure out what is really happening with us. But I hate that birth control experience was going the way they went. So you ended up getting off of birth control, or did you stay with it? Like after the migraines, what happened?
So like I said, I was 16, 17. And then a few months later, after being consistently on birth control for a few months, I was having these terrible migraines. I didn't know what it was. Like I thought it was just like, I thought something really was going on, until when I had to go to the ER and they told me, oh, you have migraines. And I was like, wow. Like I was like, the symptoms of migraines, like what happens, like my eyes, I had to close my eyes, had to be in someplace dark. I was like crouching like a baby, like I was in so much pain. And I thought, I was like, maybe it's like because of college stress. It's new stress, new work. Like I was blaming on that. I didn't blame it on the pill. Now I'm in my early 30s. Well, yeah, really early 30s. Early 30s. And I stopped the pill 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And my migraine has decreased so much. Like I'm telling you, like I have like a migraine maybe once every 2 months, if that. And
well, they did say it takes a long time for the birth control to get out of your system when you've had it in your system for so long, that it does take time for your body to kind of recalibrate and really detox. Do you feel like it was the YouTube video that you learned a little bit more about birth control that helped make that decision? Or was it like, okay, these migraines are just too much and I'm constantly putting something in me that I don't really know what's causing the issues, but I know I'm not feeling good and I deserve to feel good. So something got to give.
Actually, when I did my yearly checkup, and then they told me my liver enzymes was a little high, like all these things that they were telling me about my liver, and and I was like, I know in the back of my mind, I was like, the only medicine I'm really taking is the birth control. And I was like, I'm gonna get rid of that and just try to like start from clean slate. So for me, going back to like, okay, this is what I know. I see my blood work. They're telling me this. My migraines are not getting any better, because I also I used to wear glasses. I even did LASIK. So I'm like, maybe if I see better, I will have less migraines. No, nothing like that. But it was worth it. Like I love LASIK, by the way. It is worth it. I don't have to use glasses anymore. But it was like, for me, it was like more like something inside was like, Jeannette, just stop. Like just leave that birth control. So after like 10 years of taking birth control, 10, 11 years taking birth control, I decided to just leave it all alone. I didn't go to the doctor, because every time that I would recommend that to everybody, it's just like, personally, the doctors that I've experienced, they were not advocating for me. They were like, we're just worried about it when you decide to have a family. And I was like, well, I have these results from my primary doctors telling me that something's going on with my liver.